It's such a sad indictment, I think, on the ruling party that 30 years into democracy, people are still saying, please, just action, keep your promises, say do what you say that you are going to do and implement.
It's a vicious, abusive relationship, Faith. And as you say that, it made me think of one of the points that he made, and before we move on to Build One South Africa, was that the special relief of distress grant will remain, but we're not going to leave it at 350.
Yes.
How we're going to increase it to 370 rand for you, and all of the social grants are going to remain, and we're going to create an unemployment grant for all the youth that are sitting at home unemployed. This thing of having South Africans continue to rely on the ANC is a big problem for me. You mentioned it now saying you didn't speak about jobs and empowering the people of the country. In fact, you want people to continue to rely on you. And I wonder if that's not a big problem in the way that the ANC thinks it can continue to govern and remain in power by having people depend on them.
But is that not a point of introspection for us as a country as well, for the ANC as the ruling party? If this is a campaigning tool that you are using, if this is one of the action plans, still 30 years after democracy, what does that say about the gaps that have been created or the gaps that have widened? And I mean, we all know in South Africa, we know about the gaps that exist between the rich and the poor, the haves and the have-nots. I think the discussion that we must continuously have is why we have allowed it to widen, and why, when it is election time, we have to be reminded about those gaps so vividly, and why it is that the ANC at this stage is telling us about an increase in grants. I mean, that is obviously, that is going to, we can talk about the impact that can have in terms of the audience that is receiving that message, but I think that is going for the obvious, you know.